Esports actually on the Fate to go a little into the defense. Pretty interesting. Normally, as a Fate enjoyer myself, I'm a max force as much as I can get. But hey, you know, everyone different blokes, different strokes, all that good stuff. Let's get right into it.
So typically we know Jakeyy a little bit more for 2v2s alongside his partner Saphir, and Marker recently at Clashing Kingdoms for EU, he ended up getting 4th despite being seed 32. So Marker's been on a little bit of a tear recently, and after I saw that, I was wondering how that was going to lead into this tournament, given that it's an official and not a community tournament. So far, Jakeyy seems to be fully in the driver's seat, not a problem here, instantly punishing that landing off of the weapon pickup from Marker. Can he get more than just a 2-piece? He got the 2-piece and then just essentially did nothing. He looks like he's playing really scared right now.
Yeah, this is absolutely insane. I mean, straight up a difference in the damage being done right here. Just into the yellow, only 54 to the 175. I mean, we are living on borrowed time for sure. Pretty much any type of confirm should be able to take you out, and that is going to be enough. That almost looked like it wasn't going to take out for a second, but yeah, the downlight into the recovery. Going to get the first stock here over to Jakeyy. Very strong start here into this set. Now that's got to feel pretty good. Now going to go over to the gauntlets to see if we can get done with that. However, Marker starting to fire back. Love it.
Yeah, we don't see too much Val in current meta these days. We did happen to see a little bit of it earlier off of Rain, but Jakeyy coming in, he had a great lead to this. Marker starting to get a lot of unanswered damage back. He wasn't able to grab the sidelights there. You heard the sidelight, the beginnings of that starting to come out, but he didn't get the hitbox out in time before he got interrupted by Jakeyy. Jakeyy over on the wall, getting back onto the main corner. Marker still playing kind of scared here. He's still playing like the wait and see. I'm going to react more than like press my advantage forward, and he hasn't been able to press any advantage whatsoever. Does get the GC sidelight into the side air for the KO.
Yeah, and I think that was, I mean, it's probably pretty good to play a little more cautious. You are from behind. You don't want to end up getting reversed out of nowhere. But, you know, there was definitely a lot of edge guarding potential that Marker had right there that he didn't even actually get an edge guard for the stock. Just finds himself a nice sidelight side air on the right side instead. Jakeyy going to try to get back into the driver's seat, though. Looking big for that neutral sig. Wait a minute. Okay, going a little crazy there off the stage. However, now he's got to fight his way back onto stage one more time. Managed to do that. Sidelight Sayer. Ooh. Chopped up. Yeah, loves that Shoryu. This time I would have sent reverse though, so not gonna send off the stage. It still would have been some nice damage to add up.
D-light side air from the wrong side of the stage. Oh, the reverse slide charge, trying to go back 45 degrees angle, back over onto the corner. There's the side air from Marker. You see the instant backdash. He really doesn't want to press with a move right after he gets a hit unless it's something confirmed, like the sidelight into the side air true combo. The recovery not enough to KO off the top, but one more of those should do it.
Okay, movement. Yeah, he's looking for that jump up right there with the recovery. However, I might have put him in a real bad spot. He was definitely sweat beating for a second. Now he's here on the wall. Marker, though, still not the most aggressive when it comes to going off the stage for a little bit of edge guard potential. So Jakeyy is going to be able to slide by one more time. Jakeyy now just looking for that confirm. You can see those downlights coming out. You know he wants that downlight into the recovery. Reverse neutral sig, but just raw recovery actually catching Marker as he's trying to jump over and get back to that middle stage. Not going to happen this time around. Jakeyy now with another bit of little bit of a lead, but just a small lead indeed. If a sig hits him, it is probably over.
Yeah, it took Jakeyy a lot of damage on Marker's second stock before he could find the KO, and he's too slow on the D-light into the ground pound. And because of that, Marker gets the KO. We're now even on stocks. Marker's only 21 damage behind, so nothing bad. Jakeyy's able to grab the weapon instantly. It's going to be the sword. He does hit a neutral light, putting out just about 12 damage. Just side light into the in-light. The reverse neutral sigs are not working from Jakeyy whatsoever. That's 2 in a row now that he's been punished on. And the one right before those, he didn't hit it either. He just didn't get punished. There's the ground pound staying wide. Jakeyy rips the GCD light a little bit too early.
Ooh. Yeah, I was going to say, man, like a lot of these, now he's on to the gauntlet, so we won't be able to see it too often. But yeah, these neutral sigs definitely have not been working out for Jakeyy. I think he hit one at the very beginning of the game, and ever since then, he just wants to replicate that success, but it has not been happening. Right back onto the sword to see if he goes for it one more time.
I'm waiting for a side sig over the corner. I almost expected it there, given he hasn't really done it so far in this set. You saw how quickly Marker was moving up on the wall rather than just camping it for a moment. The GCD light just a little bit too low. The Nair missing as well.
Oops. Okay. Yeah, this is straight down to the wire, though. I mean, Marker is definitely a little closer to hitting that blast zone than Jakeyy, but with a good edge guard here. Oh, no. Speaking of, there's that edge guard I was talking about. Soon as I say a good edge guard, and the overextension of the recovery going to put him in a real bad spot. Easy pickup right there for Marker to get that ground pound.
568 damage coming out from Marker that game, despite like starting off really far behind and even like throughout the entire thing. Like, yes, he won, but it didn't feel like super confident. There were a couple times like those neutral signatures we were talking about, like he got like Jakeyy got the hit in the beginning, and then Marker kind of figured that out a little bit more. Then he threw out a couple more. Those didn't hit, but he didn't get the punish. Then he figured it out a little bit more, and then he finally figured out how to punish it exactly when it was coming, so he could grab the side airs in time to pluck him right out of the air. So Marker instantly comes out on top there. You see like a nice damage spread between the Scythe and the Orb coming out from Marker. Meanwhile, on the other side, it is pretty much nothing except for the sword. Jakeyy is very much a sword player, or at least has been a sword player so far, and that's probably going to prompt what we're about to see now, which is Jakeyy swapping over onto the Tigress.
Okay, so do you think we'll see some of the Katars as well now that the Tigress is out, or is it just still going to be all swords?
I think we're still mostly going to see sword. I don't have a lot of hope of Jakeyy's Katars being able to get in on Marker. The attempt might be there, and we'll see what level of success he has with it.
Okay. Looks like this was in his hand right now. He's definitely getting a couple hits here and there, but yeah, I want to see that like confidence in the Katars from to kind of rip some of these reads that he needs to do. So far, is he going to keep? He might actually just stay straight up on the Katars. It's an interesting idea. Okay, he's going to swap over shots, get the sword back involved here. But yeah, as you saw from that last damage spread, I mean, 517 or 507 on the sword and then 25 damage dealt on the gauntlets. Really obviously you can tell what he wants to play with. A little surprised though. I mean, I know that like the sword was one of those weapons that kind of like took a little bit of a hit in some of the recent patches, and so therefore I feel like people have been talking about how like it's not that great of a weapon. But hey man, if it's what works for you, then keep on using it. You know? Yeah, I feel like the only people playing sword right now are like sword players. At the end of the day, I'm a sword player. When you cut my arm, I bleed sword. And like everyone else is like, yeah, we'll play like Mordex or Teros or a Scythe Legend or another Hammer Legend out there. There's the D-Light into the neutral heavy. Now, this is what I'm worried about, is like Jakeyy with Katars, like we talked about how it took like 201 damage to knock out Marker's Fate last game. He is going to end up falling there. So how is he going to do that with the Katars? He doesn't have any true combo options. The recovery isn't going to be able to pick up as easily as it will on sword or anything like that. So it's good that he then swapped out so he could grab those Katars at the end of that stock, so that at the beginning of this stock, he's now back on the sword where he wants to be. He could get that KO and then strip the field, maintain control. Now he's coming in with the Katars. I think this is a better choice. You can at least live with like just jumping around and throwing out nairs, especially given how like I guess not confidently Marker's been playing. Like I think Marker's giving a lot of respect to like the movement that Jakey's throwing out. If you want to jump around and nair on gauntlets, I don't think you're going to have as good of a time as you will if you want to do it on Katars. Ooh, okay, hold on. This Katars definitely starting. I'm expecting to see some good damage numbers from the Katars though at the end of this match, regardless if he wins or loses. He is definitely putting in some work with them, and I like that. You know, being able to play like quite confident, just looking for the right hit in from these downlights. They're definitely starting to register, but however, getting pushed off the stage one more time.
Yeah, it definitely seems like his Katars are living off of like, I'm going to do a little bit of chip damage here and there, but I'm going to do that consistently enough to be able to stay ahead of you. But then Marker pulls out a big three-piece like that. The sweat beat's coming out, goes for the GC in Sig, whiffs the Sig, but Jakeyy was already in sweat beat, so he ends up falling right after that.
Yeah, Jakeyy looking for that down air too on the way down, just so he can potentially get the chase dodge back, but unfortunately going to whip that as well too. Ooh, big on the side air. Oh, that's going to be enough for sure. Got him out the recovery with the side air and that great angle that it sends well off the bounce of the stage too. Yeah, going to put Marker just way too far away to try to make that recovery. Now we're back on even footing here, last stock.
And that's one of the things you really haven't seen from Jakey's Katars so far too much is the side air. Like he's mostly throwing out the D-Light, throwing out a lot of neutral airs as well. Those are his main options. A couple in-lights here, but mostly been D-Light and neutral air. And other than that, like you do have to be a little bit careful. You can live off of those hits, but don't throw out the side air too often or you're gonna get caught for it. So it's good that he saved it until that moment so he could find the stock off of it. And he's just gonna stick with these Katars here. Marker now has the orb. There's the side air. He's going actually high, gets above everything that Marker has. There's the two-piece. Oh, he thought he could wait long enough to find where to place that recovery, but he didn't quite get it, even though Marker was up in the air.
Okay, Marker now. Yeah, the Marker, I mean, even though he has been using both his weapons, I really do feel like the orb has been like his real piece of success. Yeah. That is going to be a little unfortunate right here for Jakeyy, who's going to make his way back to the stage, unarmed though, and he's still fighting against another orb, which again has been bringing Marker a lot of success. Nice unarmed neutral light, going to get him back to his weapon at least. Scary recovery. Okay, neutral light. He's looking for a down light. I know he wants to try to finish his game off. The side air is going to be able to at least push him off the stage.
Oh my, dude, he can't find a hit. He needs like literally one more hit before a sidelight side air will KO from any spot on the stage that isn't like the wrong side of the stage, and he just can't find it. Jakeyy keeps finding the options, keeps finding the D-lights, the side airs, the recoveries, the in-lights, 592 damage, and Jakeyy takes the game. Marker just didn't know what to do at the end.
Yeah, he was having a rough time there at the end, trying to find any type of finish. It would have been super nice to, maybe just find an edge-guarded side air, but because they were playing on stage so much, he definitely was probably going to have to find to get the full confirm of the sidelight side air. Just could not find it, though. Very smooth movement right there from Jakeyy to get that reverse down light into the recovery. And, yeah, as I said, like looking at the damage here, the guitars actually did more damage, 347 on his guitars instead of the 178 from his sword. Obviously, his sword is still going to be, successful because it's getting these stocks. But, yeah, he spent a lot of time on the guitars. 50% of that time was put on the guitars, and 34% was on the sword. So I'm expecting to see these guitars really start to, like, be the thing that Marker has to find an answer for. And I feel like he was doing a good job of it when he was in control with the orbs, but just that last part of the game escaped him.
Yeah, it's like anytime Jakeyy is like right on top of him, it seems like Marker freezes up for just a second, and that's just long enough for Jakeyy to find like a one-piece or a two-piece, and then he just keeps it going. That's like one of the longer strings that we've seen from him. We saw like a three-piece string last game with a D-light neutral into the recovery, and that was one of the few three-pieces. So he's been living off of one-pieces and two-pieces, but again, he's keeping him, he's getting the hits often enough to where the damage pace is still in his favor. Let's see if Marker can find a KO with this scythe. Jakeyy being very careful on the edge before going back on. He does land on the platform, hits a recovery.
Oh, okay. Trying to make his way back to the stage one more time, Jakeyy. All right, man, that's crazy that he found that that neutral. I definitely thought it was going to be Marker's hit, but instead, Jakeyy looked for the exhausted recovery, doing everything he can to try to get that stock. Unfortunately, going to run right into that sidelight side air and lose that first stock, but he's done quite a bit of damage, so should be able to get right back in here and even it up. Assuming he can find a weapon, or maybe just an unarmed side heavy. Oh, that was pretty.
Quick pickup. I really like that. And then following it up with the recovery off of all the stun frames that he had. Great work from Jakeyy to confirm that KO with the weapon that can be a little bit difficult to KO with sometimes. If you talk to guitar players, like they always want to have like something else in their kit. Oh my gosh, to find the KOs. And Jakey's just going to completely disengage from that. He doesn't want to push it too far. He already has the damage deficit. He's already done some mental damage with that string. Great side air. There was no chance of him missing that or being punished for it. Oh, he gets it over the corner to no bounce! Beautifully placed all the way in the air. I bet Marker could have kissed the corner.
Yeah, that is, I mean, what an option and what an idea to know exactly where that was going to send to. Jakeyy could have tried to go for the more, like, usually seen recovery. But he's like, wait a minute, you're just at the edge. I bet money this will go over, and he finds it. Now, with a solid lead off that play on the second stock, Jakeyy got a lot of momentum. Marker's going to have to try to cut through. Just don't know if he's got it right now, especially with this combination. This has been Marker's bane, really. These guitars have been kind of giving him the business when it comes to the guitar versus the orb matchup.
Yeah, Marker's been staying so aerial that just kind of like lets Jakeyy do his game plan of going in with D-lights or a jump nair, and he doesn't have like an in-light as like a get off me tool when Jakey's like right on top of him until he lands on the ground, or if he wants to burn a dodge. And he doesn't want to burn a dodge because a lot of times he's having to use it because Jakeyy is just like, he's just serving aura right in front of him, and Marker doesn't really know what to do against it. Nice sidelight side air. We're at about I think it's 168 damage. So even like a weapon toss, you can KO from the middle of the stage here on Fortress of Lions with the sidelight side air on orb.
Ooh. Yeah, Jakey's been playing super grounded though, and that's just not really helping out Marker on his quest to try to get the stock. I haven't seen. Oh, okay, that was nice. Little drop zone, Sarah to go ahead and get that stock off of Jakeyy though. But I was gonna say I haven't seen a lot of potential punish of his downlight on a downlight as well too. That's gonna put you into the skies and allow you to at least get a hit. But he hasn't really been trying to go for that. And because of that, Jakey's been able to get away with dropping out a downlight, jumping out, and then getting a punish after Marker tries to get a punish himself. But let's see. We got a little bit of borrowed time here on Marker.
Dude, Jakeyy was committing a lot there. He was in sweat beads like 2 different times. And Marker was able to get hits. He was able to add up damage, but it's not enough. There's the D-light into the side air. It's now 2-1 in favor of Jakeyy. This swap over onto the Tigers was a fantastic choice that he made at a great time, rather than just like waiting until the last minute and being like, okay, I'm down 0-2. Now I'll try and make the swap. If he did that, given the way he's playing this, it might still have worked out in his favor.
Right.
But making the swap when he did, making that hard decision, and realizing like, okay, based on the way Marker is playing, he's not playing super defensively. He's playing defensively in like he's moving away, but not like he's throwing out a bunch of defensive options that are going to stop my onslaught. So I can just play piecemeal Katars. I can play a la carte. Here's a D-Light, here's a neutral air, and I'll have a full meal by the end of the day.
I'm always a fan of like watching if we're doing it. Oh, wait.
Got
oh
the
my
touch
God.
too. Oh, Jakeyy.
Oh, man,
interrupted by the main
stage,
platform.
though.
Dude, the corner giveth and the corner taketh away.
Because that was definitely an on-target ground pound if he was sending that off the stage. Unfortunately, they're going to get the big stomp on the stage right there. And I mean, but still, yeah, Marker has to feel good about being able to get at least back into this game, because I felt like that stock was definitely about to be evaporated.
Yeah, and he totally brought the damage back. Now it's a little bit more skewed. Actually in favor of Marker, but right after that he brought the damage back so quickly. So he went from like dangerously close to losing his stock if it wasn't for the corner interruption of that ground pound from Jakeyy, to like now he's reasonably in the lead. It's like 19 points of damage here. The neutral air sending high, but that's not going to be the KO move you need. Is Jakeyy going to try and do it with the Katars, or is he just kind of buying time here until the next weapon spawn comes in so he can grab the sword? There's the D-Light into the turnaround recovery. Jakeyy gets the KO.
Dude, this is absolutely insane, too, because I feel like look, what we saw in that first match, I could have swore this guy was just, oh, I'm all sword, me sword all day, right? But
yeah,
it's really been me Katars right now, and since he swapped over to the Tigers, and it's been working out for him. You know what I mean? Like, super heavily. I just don't think that Marker has the best answer so far for this Katar yet. Maybe it is the Scythe. I mean, looking at his stats so far, the Scythe has not shown up that much. 28% equipped in that last game, so it's 59% equipped on the orb. Maybe it is time to lean a little more into the Scythe and see what we can get done with that.
Oh, he just waits for the neutral light to come out.
Oh, okay. Wall bang, but yeah, not going to be able to take that style.
Nice.
Oh, okay, yeah, there it goes. My man said I got the Brett Favre on deck right there. Clean spiral to the dome.
Very even game so far. Only about 13, now 26-ish damage between the two. Oh, the in-light just barely missing. Jakeyy stays out of the effective range of Scythe, waits for the move from Marker to whiff, and then goes in. Or he approaches very, very slowly, and then he sees that, like, oh, I can get in on top of Marker. Now I'm doing that. All of a sudden, though, the Scythe strings, the defensive Scythe, he's able to shut down a lot of these approaches from Jakeyy. Look at how many jumps Jakeyy did before he chose to. He didn't even commit to anything. He just landed back onto the main platform. He thinks he can jump around in that area right above Marker at like a 45 degree, and he's waiting for Marker to throw out an in-light.
Marker, though, yeah, I mean, I got to give it up to Marker's resilience, though, for not throwing out anything. He's also willing to play a little bit of that more intense neutral.
Nice.
However, neutral Sig, it's going to make him back down to the ground. Good down there, try to put a little pressure on him. May not matter, though. Still getting sent off the stage. Great dodge. Needed that. Oh.
One more hit, and you can KO just with this air. Pretty much anywhere on stage other than wrong side of the stage. That's going to do it right there. There's a side light into the side air. I think Marker might really be starting to figure these things out. The one thing that he might struggle against that we saw Jakeyy do a couple times earlier was like the extended Katar strings. He didn't do it that many times, but there's been a couple of times here where it's been a little bit worrisome from Marker just because of like a bad dodge that got caught. How did he get through that?
I'm surprised that he got through that, but also wasn't able to get an actual punish, so it does get picked up right after that. But, yeah, Marker must have found, like, right between the hitboxes or something. That was crazy. Neutral light going to push him back off the stage. And he is trying. Yeah, Jakeyy is definitely getting a little desperate on here, trying to get the stock. That should be enough. Is going to get it off the down light onto the Sair. And now right back to the Katars, as I expected to see. The Katars definitely doing a lot of work for him. See if he can keep this weapon start going up. And there it is. Good damage right there off the start.
Oh, he's keeping it going. He got him away from the weapon just for a second, too. Wasn't able to find any hits after that, as Markers were able to go over and grab the orb. Let's see if he just goes back to this floaty game that he was playing previously. Like now he's starting to push those strings, because the piecemeal option, the a la carte option earlier wasn't working. Now he's going for the 1-2 piece, waiting to see where the dodge is and following up right after that.
Dude, I'm telling you, this orb, it's whatever he's pondering, he's not pondering correctly. He is not pondering correctly. Every time it's been the orb versus Katar matchup, it has looked exactly like this on this screen. Now he's got the Scythe in the hand, but it's Scythe versus sword, and he only needs one more downlight into this recovery, most likely to take this game. Oh wait, the down air. Active input behind him, pushing back off the stage. Oh my God! That's going to be enough.
Oh, no, dude. It felt like he was a little bit lethargic with that down air that he threw out. That time it took 600 damage from Jakeyy, but it doesn't matter because Jakey's going to take the set 3-1. I really feel like Marker had something there towards the end. He really started to figure things out, but then also we saw like the counter adaptation from Jakeyy of, I'm going to throw out more down airs. I'm going to go down air, side light, and then I'm going to wait to see what you do. I'm actually going to kind of act more like a traditional Qatar player rather than like some guy who plays a lot